Welcome back to The Explainer. Sometimes you see a week where everything just changes, and that's exactly what we're talking about today. We're diving into what was, and I'm not kidding, one of the most transformative weeks in AI history. The pace just went into overdrive. Yeah, the source we're digging into today really nailed it with his quote. It's been an absolutely insane week in the world of AI. So, why was it so insane? Let's unpack what made this week such a massive leap forward. So here's the plan. We're going to start with the big 1-2 punch from OpenAI. Then we'll check out what their main competitor, Anthropic, did to respond, and it's a pretty cool approach. After that, we'll zoom out and take a look at the rest of the AI world, and finally, we'll try to piece together what this all means for you and me. Okay, first up, OpenAI. Look, this wasn't just some minor update or a bug fix. They dropped two massive, game-changing releases, one right after the other, and honestly, it kind of rewrote the rules of what's even possible. So the first big reveal was their new flagship model, GPT 5.5. And the headline here is pretty simple, but it's a huge deal. It's built to do more with less. It's just way better at understanding what you actually want, which means it can handle really complex stuff without you having to spell every little thing out for it. Way less handholding. And this slide is a perfect example of what that means in practice. So you give both models the same simple prompt: help me build a plan to be healthier. The old version? It spits out a totally generic, one-size-fits-all plan. But GPT 5.5, it does something totally different. It actually remembers your past chats, figures out you've been skipping meals, and builds a plan that works with your crazy schedule. It's not just generating text, it's reasoning. And it's not just about getting personal either. We're talking raw capability. On this benchmark, which basically tests how well an AI can operate a computer, GPT 5.5 actually scored higher than a model called Mythos. Now, if that name doesn't ring a bell, Mythos is the model that was so powerful its own creators thought it was too scary to release to the public. And GPT 5.5 just beat it. Wow. But wait, there's more. As if a new flagship model wasn't enough, OpenAI also dropped their next-generation image model, Images 2.0. And I want to be clear, this isn't just about making prettier pictures for artists. This is a massive jump in terms of real-world practical use. So what's the big deal here? Well, for one, it can finally render text that's actually sharp and readable, a huge problem for older models. The images themselves just feel less, AI-generated. But the real magic is under the hood. It now has what you could call thinking capabilities. It can literally go search the web and use what it knows about the world to fill in the gaps for you. It's wild. And here's a mind-blowing example. Someone asked it to make an image of a book. The barcode it generated, it wasn't just a random pattern. It was a real, scannable barcode. You could point your phone at it, and boom, it takes you to the actual store page for that book online. We're talking about a whole new level of interactive and functional images. And check this out, another massive hurdle cleared. Generating coherent text inside an image like on a newspaper, it used to be impossible. You just get garbled nonsense. But Images 2.0 can create these huge blocks of dense text that are perfectly readable and actually make sense. That's a problem that has plagued image models for years, and, well, it looks like they solved it. All right, so while OpenAI was going for these big, powerful, all-purpose models, their main rival, Anthropic, took a totally different route. Instead of competing head-on, they unveiled a brand new, super specialized tool that's built from the ground up for creative work. They call it Claude Design. And the best way to think about it isn't as just another image generator. No, this is more like a creative partner. It's a tool that works with you to make polished designs, prototypes, slides, even animations. The keyword there is with. It's a collaboration. And it's really the workflow that sets it apart. See, you don't just type a prompt and get a picture. You start with an idea, sure, like, I want a new website design. But then Claude starts asking you questions. What's the scope? What's the vibe? And only after that back and forth does it give you this polished, interactive prototype. It's a two-way street. But maybe the coolest, most unexpected part of this is the animation. The source we're looking at absolutely loved this feature. You can literally just ask it to create simple animations, kind of like what you do in After Effects, and it just does it. For designers and creatives, that is a potential game changer.
Okay, so it wasn't just OpenAI and Anthropic having all the fun. The whole industry was buzzing. We saw a whole bunch of other powerful new tools and models drop this week, really showing how fast this entire space is growing.
Let's just do a quick rapid fire. Google came out with Deep Research Max, which is an AI that can basically do research all by itself. Alibaba released Quinn 3.6 Max, which is all about something called agentic coding. Think an AI that can manage entire software projects. And even in the open source world, we got a new heavy hitter called Kimi K2.6, another model that's a beast at coding. All right, let's step back for a second. We've talked about all these different models and tools, but what does it all mean? After a week this jam-packed, what's the big takeaway? What's the story here? Well, there are a few big trends that are becoming super clear. First, AI is getting way smarter. It has deeper reasoning, it remembers context. Second, the tools are getting more specialized. They're not just trying to be everything to everyone anymore. And third, the focus is shifting. It's not about just making a cool image anymore, it's about solving real problems and handling complex, multi-step tasks. If you boil it all down, the big theme is this. AI is graduating from being a cool toy to being a serious tool. The focus is shifting away from just novelty and towards real-world utility. These aren't just generators anymore. They're becoming specialized, highly capable systems designed to be partners in our work. And that really leaves us with a pretty wild thought to end on, right? If all of this can happen in just 1 week, what will things look like in 1 year? Because if there's one thing this week proved, it's at the pace of all this, well, it's only